Hi, it's me again. So I thought today I would go through my to be read pile. Some of these have been on here for quite a while, but hopefully I'll get through them in August. So here we go. So the first book on my to read list is The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell. This has been on my to read list for quite a while. I remember seeing it when it first came out in hardback and I really wanted to read it. It's been on my to read pile since then and I kind of forgot about it until I was walking around Waterstones. I saw it and thought I'd go and buy it. I have kind of forgotten what it's about, but I'll just read you the blurb. Run away one drowsy summer's afternoon with Holly Sykes, wayward teenager, broken-hearted rebel and unwitting pawn in a titanic hidden conflict. Over 6 decades, the consequences of a moment's impulse unfold, drawing an ordinary woman into a world far beyond her imagining, and as life in the near future turns perilous, the pledge she made to a stranger may become the key to a family's survival. Now, all I remember about this is that it started to interest me. I thought the blurb was interesting, and again, just look at the picture. As you do know from previous videos, I do love a good cover and it's quite pretty. So yeah, I think I might read this next. It is quite a chunky book, 600 odd pages. I haven't read a book that big for quite a while. I have been putting it off, but I think after I've read Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, this will definitely be the next book to read. The next book on my to read list is Alice by Christina Henry. I saw this in Waterstones again. It was just an impulse buy. It looks like a retelling of Alice in Wonderland, and as you probably know again from previous videos, I love retellings of fairy tales. So I'll just read the blurb to you. In a warren of crumbling buildings and desperate people called the Old City, there stands a hospital with cinder block walls which echo with the screams of the poor souls inside. In the hospital there is a woman. Her hair, once blonde, hangs in tangles down her back. She doesn't remember why she's in such a terrible place, just a tea party long ago and long ears and blood. Then one night a fire at the hospital gives the woman a chance to escape, tumbling out of the hole that imprisoned her, leaving her free to uncover the truth about what happened to her all those years ago. Only something else has escaped with her, something dark, something powerful, and to find the truth she will have to track this beast all the way to the heart of the Old City, where the rabbit waits for his Alice. Now it just sounds really interesting. It sounds a bit like horror-y as well, but I really want to read this and it's only a short book, so I should get through that quite quickly. The next book on my to read list is The Gargoyle by Andrew Davidson. Again, like The Bone Clocks, this has been on my to read list for quite a while, but I could never find the book anywhere until one day I saw it in my local charity shop, an Oxfam shop. It was just there, so I got it for, I think it was £1.99. That is pretty good for a book. Again, I love it because it's got the black pages. I always love coloured pages. And again, it's been on my to read list for so long, I can't remember what it's about. I'm a bit useless at this, aren't I? But again, I will read you the blurb. A young man is fighting for his life. Into his room walks a bewitching woman who believes she can save him. Their journey will have you believing in the impossible. So yeah, I'm really excited to finally read this and I just hope it's as good as I think it is. So the next book is Feed by Mira Grant. Now I think this was recommended to me on Goodreads. I believe it's like post-apocalypse. Well, basically they found a cure to cancer and the cold and things don't go as expected. It seems really interesting. I think it's part of a trilogy, I'm not too sure. But yeah, if I like this, I might read the other one. So again, I'm going to read you the blurb. The year was 2014. We had cured cancer. We had beaten the common cold. But in doing so, we created something new, something terrible that no one could stop. The infection spread, virus blocks taking over bodies and minds with one unstoppable command: feed. Now 20 years after the rising, vloggers Georgina and Sean Mason are on the trail of the biggest story of their lives. The dark conspiracy behind the infected, the truth will out, even if it kills them. Now I really love conspiracy books. It just gets you thinking and I really hope I enjoy this. And like I said before, if I do like it, I will definitely read the other books. The next one is The Sealed Letter by Emma Donoghue. Again, I found this in Oxfam when I got The Gargoyle. This wasn't originally on my to read list, but a friend had mentioned it and it rang a bell, so I originally bought it for her. But then I read the blurb and it actually sounds really interesting. It's a historic novel and I believe it's about two people who are kind of like a forbidden love, and there's this person just sending letters between them. But here's the blurb. Helen Corrington is unhappily married. Emily, Fido faithful, hasn't seen her once dear friend for years. After bumping into Helen on the streets of Victorian London, Fido finds herself reluctantly helping her to carry on an affair with a young army officer. The woman's friendship quickly unravels amid courtroom accusations of adultery, counter-accusations of cruelty and attempted rape, and the appearance of a mysterious sealed letter that could destroy more than one life. Based on a real-life scandal that gripped England in 1864, the sealed letter is a delicious tale of secrets, betrayal and forbidden love. So I love the fact that it's based on a real-life scandal and it's a historic novel, which again I love. I actually cannot wait to read this, and I don't think my friend will get her hands on it until I've read it. The next book is The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry. This I saw on BookTube. I think it was Mercy's Musing. I'll find out who it was and just link it below. This is another historic novel. It seemed really interesting. I believe it's about a woman who's recently widowed, and her and her son goes down to Essex to find the mysterious Essex serpent. I cannot say that word. And then she falls in love with what I believe is a vicar. So again, here's the blurb for you. London, 1893. When Cara Seaborn's husband dies, she steps into her new life as a widow with as much relief as sadness. Her marriage was not a happy one, and she never suited the role of society wife. Accompanied by her son Francis, a curious, obsessive boy, she leaves town for Essex, where she hopes fresh air and open space will provide the refuge they need. When they take lodgings in Colchester, rumours reach them from further up the estuary that the mythical Essex serpent, once said to roam the marshes claiming human lives, has returned to the coastal parish of Aldwinter. Cora, a keen amateur naturalist, with no patience for religion or superstition, is immediately enthralled, convinced that what the local people think is a magical beast may be a previously undiscovered species. As she sets out on its trail, she is introduced to William Ransom, Aldwicher's vicar. So again, it seems like it's got a bit of anything, a mysterious serpent, it's historic, and there's a bit of love there as well. So yeah, I'm definitely going to give this a read. The next book on my to-read list is Doctor Who Time Lord Fairy Tales. Now, I am a huge fan of Doctor Who. I haven't read any of the books that go along with it, just because I'm not really a big fan of doing that. But I was in W.H. Smith's at White Rose Centre, and my friend pointed this out, and I thought I'd just have to have it. I mean, it's Time Lord Fairy Tales. It just seems so interesting. It's one of those hardbacks that doesn't have a dust cover, and it's so pretty. And I'm just interested to see what fairy tales the Doctor and the Master just grew up with, and I cannot wait to read it. On the back, it says, "We are all stories in the end. 15 tales of ancient wonder and mystery passed down through generations of Time Lords. Dark, beautiful and twisted, these stories are filled with nightmarish terrors and heroic triumphs from across all of time and space." So yeah, it looks like it's going to be amazing, and again, I might do a review on this just for my fellow Whovians. Okay, so the next two books are from Zoella's book club. One of them is one that I've wanted to read for quite a while, the other one is just one that I thought seemed interesting. So the first one is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Is that how you pronounce it? I've seen her a lot on BookTube before. I hadn't really heard of her. I think it's because for a while I didn't read any YA novels, just because I was trying to increase my reading variety. Is that the right thing to say? Basically read different types of books. But I read this and I think it will really appeal to me. As soon as I heard about twins going off in different ways, it really reminded me of Double Act by Jacqueline Wilson, a book I grew up with. So I hope there might be a little bit of nostalgia there as well. But again, here's the blurb for you. Kath and Ren are identical twins, and until recently they did absolutely everything together. Now they're off to university, and Ren's decided she doesn't want to be one half of a pair anymore. She wants to dance, meet boys, go to parties and let loose. It's not so easy for Kath. She would rather bury herself in the fan fiction she writes, where there's romance far more intense than anything she's experienced in real life. Now Kath has to decide whether she's ready to open her heart to new people and new experiences, and she's realising that there's more to learn about love than she ever thought possible. So Kath, she reminds me a bit like me from the blurb. Like I said, I haven't read it yet, but she seems like someone who's a bit of an introvert, just likes to stay at home, do her own thing, and she's basically forced into it, a bit like I was when I went to university. I hope there will be some similarities between us, and if so, it might make me enjoy it a bit more. And the last book on my current to read list is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. Now this seemed to really interest me, so I thought I'd give it a go. I believe it's about two people who meet on the bell tower of a school, both about to commit suicide. And I think it's about them both saving themselves, or maybe one of them saving the other. I'm not quite too sure, but I know it sounded quite interesting, and it is a pretty bright book. So here's the blurb. Theodore Finch wants to take his own life. Violet Markey is devastated by sister's death. They meet on the ledge of the school bell tower, and so their story begins. It's only together they can be themselves. But as Violet's world grows, Finch's begins to shrink. How far will Violet go to save the boy she has come to love? So yeah, that seems very interesting and I can't wait to give it a read. But before I read any of those, obviously the new Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, is out on Sunday. I am off to the Waterstones launch on Saturday. I've pre-ordered my book. I've got the email saying it's there. I can't collect it until Saturday and I'm just so excited. Me and my best friend are going. So we're going to go, come back to the flat and just start reading it straight away. And before anyone asks, there will definitely be a review and I just can't wait. It's my childhood coming back. Before I get carried away with Harry Potter, it's best if I say bye and I'll see you later. Bye!